Hello friends, this is Seemownay. Today I am sharing a process video based on this sketch. It's another sketch from the scrap room, and I don't really know why I'm using those sketches. It just happens to be that Susanna, my friend, is on their design team, and somehow that inspires me to use their sketches. So I've just flipped through the papers and I showed you the sketch. This is not a normal sketch that I would use. It's very busy. There's lots of photos on there, but I actually had a series of photos or selfies that my son and I took, and those lent themselves perfectly for an interpretation of the sketch. I have these papers picked. This one is a Shimelle from her box of crayon papers. I love the blue, and I wear a blue shirt in this in these photos, and I thought it would go really well with that as a background. And then I saw on the backside of the blue paper that there is these strips and cut aparts that you can use for whatever you would like to use them for. This is typical Shimelle stuff. She always uses these kinds of strips on her layouts, and so that worked really perfect for that sketch because it had horizontal strips. So I really loved the pencils, and it doesn't go with this theme of the layout. I just liked it. It was dark. The background was this dark blue that is also in the what is that? The edge of the paper. My mind is blank. That you cut off the 12 by 12 paper to make it 12 inches. This one said hello, hello, hello all over again. And again, I loved what it looked like. I loved the dark blue background. And so I used it, or I thought I was going to use it as the top stripe in this layout. The sketch calls for several different horizontal strips or stripes. And so I thought I was going to use this one there. I have, now I'm at a loss for words. I also knew exactly what I was going to use for a title, which is this Love Your Tribe. And I had actually pulled these labels, or tags are from Jelly Bean Soup, and I really like them. They're just so different that I never get to use them. They just never fit anywhere. And I thought I was going to use that on this layout, but I somehow end up not using it. It just never really fits. And so instead of forcing it, I had already cut one of the photos off that photo strip. I didn't want this to go all across the page. And so what I did was I cut one of those photos off, and that photo I think I'm just going to use in my son's traveler's notebook, and then I'm going to add that tag to that spread there. So I went through my huge box of die cuts, which I have, yes, you might call me crazy. I put all of the die cuts that I own into this box. And it kind of works, but it also kind of doesn't. And I will tell you why. So I just went through the top layer. That's an indication for why it doesn't work, of the ephemera that I have in this box, and just looked for things that would work with the color scheme and the overall feel of this layout. And I pulled them all out, and now it is not indicated in the sketch, but I just really liked the idea of having some kind of cluster on top of the photos. And it all started with this tab that says selfies or selfie. And it just looked really lonely up there. And so I started making a complete, full on cluster of layers behind the photo strip. But I actually really like how it turns out. So there's that. And as you can see, I'm committing quite quickly to all the things that I'm doing. I'm placing the photo strip with the layered embellishments on the blue paper, and then I'm also putting down the title, which says Love Your Tribe. It is from a newer Jen Hatfield collection, which I'm a sucker for these kinds of words, phrases, but I never get them in my kits. And so when I saw that at the store, I had to buy it. And I actually really like the phrases on there. They're not your usual phrases that like awesome, best day ever. It's more like happy day. Well, happy day is also a very generic phrase. Just have a look at the thickers in that, the phrase thickers in that Jen Hatfield collection, and you will see that they are really very original and very non-generic, and I love that about them. And this phrase saying, reading Love Your Tribe, works perfectly with the fun photos that I took with my son. So now I'm not really very happy on how the title and the bottom strip, they just don't really nestle well together somehow. And so I'm taking it all apart again, and I'm now making sure that the strip is straight on the page. I'm just measuring from the bottom, and I don't know what length it was. I just one that I liked, and then I'm going to stick it down and also stick down the guess what? My glue tape ran out of tape, and I had to refill it. And so I had to stop the camera and cut all of this out. I stuck it down, and then I also really, really loved that. What does it say? My favorite time with you phrase sticker. It's not a sticker, it's an embellishment. I think it was from Pink Fresh Studio. Not Pink Fresh Studio. Pretty Little Studio. Came in one of their embellishment packs. I hadn't used it, and so it worked really well there. And it also connected the pencil stripe with the blue stripe and the title, which was something that I wasn't really happy about, as you saw me fiddling with that before. So having that die cut there was great. Now, I didn't really know what to add for that big journaling tag kind of thing at the right side of the layout. And then I saw these labels. This was a paper in a pink paisley line, I think. I got that paper in a hot buy pad from Michaels. Really bad paper quality, but I actually wanted the paper for the labels, so that worked. And I just picked some of the colors of the labels that I liked and that were also represented in that pencil stripe, and added those, staggered them there. Again, connecting the background with the pencil stripe, with the title, making sure that things touch, and then I'm covering that strange hole in there with this dog. And the dog doesn't make any sense at all. I just really liked what it looked like, and my reasoning for using it is because the last photo is a filter of a bunny, not a dog. Yes, I know, but we both wear glasses. The dog wears glasses. It's it's an animal, and so that's the reason why I thought it would work there. And I actually really like it. It it's kind of fun, and the whole layout is fun, and so that works. Then the sketch asks for another cluster at the top, and I had placed several things up there, but when I went with the labels, I didn't want to bring in another shape, and I have several banners that would probably work, but that just didn't do it for me. I wanted to use a label as part of the embellishment cluster, and I really liked the cloud. I have a thing for clouds, somehow. I'm using them on all the things. I'm using them as cut files, I'm using them in my travels notebook, and now I'm using them on this layout. But actually, I really think it finishes this embellishment cluster off very nicely. I love that there is another color, pop of color up there. It has similar colors. I think the dog's glasses are this teal color. There is a teal color in the strip down there, and it just really looks nice. And then I also have one of those phrase die cuts as well, and since it was such a stark white at the bottom, I really wanted another stark white piece at the top. And even though I don't have, well, I do have circles, the pencils are circular shaped, but I didn't really know if I wanted to use that half circle with the love up there, but I really love the color. It repeats the color in the cluster of the photos on top and the colors of the pencils in the bottom, and it just finishes off the top of the cluster. And so I used it, even though there's not very much. Oh yes, there are circles going on. There are circles, so I guess it works. The dog is kind of circular shaped, and the pencils that stick out most are the red and orange one on the bottom left side. So actually, yeah, it totally works. It makes this a triangular cluster. Then I'm adding my journaling, and then I'm pulling out you saw me stamping right there, a phrase stamp with a date stamp title, one of those big ones. I usually never use them, but it worked here. You can see the close-ups. I'm really very satisfied with how this layout turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time for listening me ramble and explaining things. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. This is definitely not one of my usual layouts, but I love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Until then, bye!